This is the BestArc BCP 500 7th Gen plasma cutter. Today we're going to take a look at what's in the box, go over the features, and give it a test run. Now just a disclaimer, BestArc sent this machine to me, asked me to take a look at it, give my thoughts on it. Didn't cost me a dime. So let's get started. So let's get this thing opened up. Hopefully it didn't damage it. And the machine. So let's take a look at what's in the box. We've got our ground clamp. It's not heavy duty, but that's what we got. Got some air line. Got a 110 volt 220 adapter. This will go into our 220 plug, which is already on the machine. And this allows you to go into a 110 volt receptacle. We'll talk about that a little more later. Got a few consumables here, some Teflon tape, and our cutting lead with our connectors and some instructions. Let's get our machine unpacked here. As you can see, the machine is pretty small, very light. So again, it already comes with a 220 volt plug. Got to make sure your shop's set up for that by a qualified electrician. Like I said, you can run it with the 110 volt adapter, but you will be limited on your cutting power running on 20 amp circuit. You won't get the full 50 amp cutting advantage that you will running on 220. So on front here, we've got our connection points. We've got a air regulator that's built on here. So you can regulate your air right here instead of at your compressor. You've got your function buttons and a controller. And we'll set it up and go over those things when we get it powered up. On the rear here, you've got your air connection and your power button. Let's get it set up. We'll go ahead and connect our ground. Get our arc start set up. And if you notice, I got a washer there. Washer goes over it. That'll help secure it. And our control, this has to line up. Got a couple pins there. And our torch connection. We've already got our air hooked up to the back, and we'll plug it into our 220 volt power supply. All right, I think we're ready to power up. So first thing to do, let's look at our air regulator. Right now we can tell the pressure is too high. It's up in the red. We want to turn our regulator down. Takes it a minute to respond. Put it at about 60 pounds. Right now it's set at 15 amps. One of the features with this machine is with the torch and this function button right here, either cut or air, you hit this button, kind of blow off your workpiece, your table, whatever you need to do there. That's pretty cool. You have 2T and 4T. 2T is when you pull the trigger, starts the arc, and when you let off, it stops. 4T is you pull the trigger, let off, it stays running, you hit it again, and it stops. This is if you're doing longer cuts, that sort of thing. We'll leave it on 2T right now. Okay, over here is your post-time air. So if you're cutting normal sheet metal, something like that, you can leave it at around 3 seconds. There's your seconds right there. But if you're cutting some thick material, you'll want to turn that up. That way you can preserve your consumables. Your post air will continue to flow until it gets through counting down. So just in a quick example, it's 6 seconds. And it cuts off. So we're going to leave that on about 3 seconds until we start cutting something pretty thick. So this setting right here is our post arc. This works great if you're cutting something like mesh and you want your arc to continuously stay on in between the gaps in the mesh or expanded metal. It won't go out and cause problems cutting. For regular steel, you can put it at 1 second. All right, so let's get set up on some metal and see what it'll do. So right now we're at 44 PSI. I'm gonna cut that up. It had to blow the air out of the line a little bit. And I'll probably be cutting some 1/8 steel. So I'm gonna cut this up to about 35 amps. By the way, the manual has a chart, give you a ballpark of what to set your air and amperage at for a thickness of material. All right, so let's go cut something. All right, so I got safety glasses, got hand protection, and we got a piece of 1/8 plate here, slightly under 1/8, probably 3/32. We're at 30 amps at 60 PSI. We're just gonna do a quick cut here, see how she does. Not too bad, but I could speed up my cut a little bit and get rid of some of that drop, but it's not too bad. Get another cut. I'm gonna cut the amperage down just a little bit. Okay, we at 25 amps. See how she does. But it cuts pretty good. Let's go with some 1/4" plate. Okay, I'm set at 40 amps at 60 psi. Cuts pretty clean. If I put a straight edge on there, I could get a better cut. Do have quite a bit of drop. That has to do with speed and air pressure. It pops right off of there. All right, let's go up to about some 1/2" or 13 millimeters. That's where we're going to be running into limitation or not. So let's get it set up. Okay, got a piece of 1/2". I'm set up at 50 amps at 60 psi. This machine's rated to do this, so let's see what we can do. Well, it cut it. I could probably adjust my speed a little bit, but we are maxed out on settings. Drop pops right off. If I put a straight edge on there, that would have been a lot cleaner cut, but not bad. It cut it. It did what it said it would do. So let's take a look at this torch. All right, so the torch, I do like the way the torch is designed. It's not too bulky and big. The guide is a wire, bent wire type guide. It works okay. Some of them are better than others, but it does work. And if you find it's too close to the tip, just bend it out a little bit. It's got a little swivel ball here. That's pretty helpful. Another great thing is this thing is at least 12, 13 foot long, so you have plenty of lead. I really like that. Talk about the ground. I'm not crazy about this ground. It's pretty cheapo, but it works. For a home shop, probably never have an issue. Of course, I don't see you using this machine anywhere else but a home shop. For material in the 1/8 to 3/16 1/4" range, this machine's going to be fine for that. Start getting into this 1/2" stuff and you're going to slow down, start running into issues, I think. But it will cut it, as you've seen. And just remember, using your functions will save your consumables, and using that post air and that sort of thing. I really like that you can cut mesh with this thing and have the arc continuously stay on. I also like that you can put it on 4T, pull it, and it stays on, and you don't have to hold the trigger while you're doing it till you press it again and shut it off. Other things I like is the big LCD screen, and it's simple. Simple, pretty much don't have to read the instructions. At least I didn't until I started looking in some of the air to amperage functions. Some of that's going to be trial and error. I think that you'll find that most machines are like that anyway. Overall, I think it's a fine little machine for the money. $250 on Amazon. I can remember when plasma machines back 25 years ago, BestArc machines were $900 to $1,000. So they've come a long way, especially in cost, technology, and the size of these things. Just my opinion. Those are the things that I like, things that I don't like. Hope you got something out of this video, and I appreciate you watching.